All right, so hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Ask the Expert session at CEED, called Feeling Stuck in Stress, Self-Doubt, or Financial Fog. The key to lasting success might not be in your business plan, but in your mindset and habits. Today, we'll explore how shifting your beliefs in money habits can spark breakthroughs, reduce stress, and create lasting success. We're excited to be joined by Heather Abbott, who is a CPA certified, a financial educator, and a transformational speaker. Heather blends financial expertise with mindset and energy tools to help entrepreneurs find clarity, confidence, and prosperity. With that, I'll hand it over to Heather. Thank you very much.
Welcome, everybody. It's nice to see you here. Um, as I just said, I do welcome questions as we go through this. I'm going to start with a question of my own. Um, can any of you think of anything that you've ever wanted or still want that the reason you want it isn't just so that you'll feel better? Can you think of anything you want without the purpose of it will make you feel better? No, you can't. Because absolutely everything we want in life is because we think if we have it, we will feel better. That's how we think we get to joy. More stuff, more things, world peace, uh, things for our children, things for our parents. No matter what we want, it's all because we think having it will make us feel better. So when you know that, it makes a lot of things simpler because it is possible to find the joy now. I've done it. Trust me, it wasn't always easy. I was in an abusive relationship for a marriage for like 25 years, had a boyfriend before that for like 3.5 years. I don't have a great track record. I do have a good husband now, but throughout all of that, I always held on to that belief that tomorrow was going to be better, that things could change just like that. You never know. People win the lottery. People, you know, in his case, it was, I actually was hoping he would die, but that's not a nice thing, but he was nasty. Um, and I know some people actually relate to that, but um, so my life is good now. I'm in a good place. Finances is a part of it. When I talk about prosperity, my company is called Prosperity and Possibilities. When I speak about prosperity, people think finances. Finances isn't even in one of the top things. The top two things are joy and freedom. Freedom is where finances falls under financial freedom. If you have financial freedom, that's all you need, right? You have the freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want. That's what we're looking for. It's not, oh, I need $22 million. It's that you want the freedom that having enough money will give you. So, when I'm speaking to you today, I'm going to go over a couple different aspects of it. There will be the financial freedom, but there's other types of freedom, and we're going to talk about the joy. So, um, when I describe what I do to people, I will say I help you find the holes in your financial bucket so that you're able to plug them because you can't plug them if you can't find them. And then I help you figure out how to have a bigger bucket and how to be happy now. How many of you you could just show hands or type in the chat. How many of you have heard of the law of attraction? Okay, so I had a woman in a class. I was a guest presenter for the financial night on this one course. And she got kind of upset with me when I mentioned the law of attraction. She was like, it doesn't work either. And she told me all this stuff she'd been doing. And I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. What I'm talking about, yes, law of attraction is misrepresented a lot of the time because it's actually a law of allowing. When you get into that, it's the whole point is to feel joy now. When people talk about curing their cancer or anything that they've made come to them, it's always because they feel the joy now. I read a lot of books, I take a lot of courses, and I can tell you a whole bunch of people that have cured cancer, brought in money, had things show up in their lives, houses that they want. And it's always because they feel the joy now and they work on what lights them up. So that is your compass. How you feel is your compass. It's not what do I think needs to be done. It's like, okay, I have these three tasks that need to be done. Which one of them will make me feel happiest right now? And if none of them will make me happy, is there a way I could do them that would make me feel happy? That's part of it. Okay. Um, I'm going to switch away from giving you the overview and we're going to move into the financial bucket. So when I talk about this, have you guys have heard of live within your means? Yeah. Do you know how to calculate that? I do. And you know what? I didn't. I took a business degree. I became a CPA. I became a financial advisor. And none of that training taught me how to calculate my means level, like how to know what I can afford. Nothing. So there was one day when I was working for Investors Group, we got to have this lady come in and do a course for us. And it was a course designed for financial advisors to deal with their clients. And it had the basis of what my system is. And she spoke about it in a different way because she was speaking to advisors, but it was like, oh my God, this is the missing link. So I've taken what she did and I've created spreadsheets and I'm working on an app that will be more user friendly. So I'll share my screen here just for a minute and I'll explain to you what is involved in calculating your means level. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. So I called it financial clarity worksheets. I've done a financial clarity course. Well, I've done a few of them. I just have to move this so I can move up and down. So anytime you sit down and people say, where's your money going? They expect you to do all this stuff. So if we look at what I call food and fun, you see these items, groceries, restaurants, coffee shops, parties, habits, activities, clothing. You can't tell me a set amount that you spend on any of these, can you? You could walk into a store and spend more on one of these than you planned when you went in. That's why they're separate. This page is the page where you get to find out if you're living within your means. Because to me, your commitments as a portion of what your net income is your measure for if you're living within your means. And this sheet, it's long, but if you fill it in, it will actually let you see exactly where all your money is going because I have reminders for things. The reason I've gotten so much praise for these sheets from a lot of people is because it's so detailed. The problem is it's so detailed, people don't want to sit down to do it. So that's why the app. You'll only see a portion at a time. So it's in sections. This is a living section. So when you put in anything here, it's going to convert it to a weekly amount. Why weekly? Because it's relevant. So I'm just going to give you an overview because it gets detailed and I don't want to overwhelm you. So when you're trying to figure out what you can or cannot afford, take all your sources of income after you've paid your income tax. If you get a tax refund, add that back to your income. Okay, so that's step one. Convert that amount to weekly. Now you're going to list everything that you agree to pay, everything that you know is going to be paid. If you own a vehicle, you know you're going to have to buy tires, you know you're going to have an oil change, you know you're going to have to buy gas, and gas you can pretty well guess how much it will be. Same as the tires, you can pretty well guess how much it will be when it will be. You convert all of those things to weekly as well. That goes for um, all your living expenses, all your vehicle expenses, all your loans, credit cards, all your subscriptions. If you have Netflix and Disney and Hulu and all these things, Spotify, all of those, you're going to list them. And if you have more than one vehicle, you're going to list things for each vehicle separately so you can see which vehicles is costing you how much. Like a four-wheeler might be costing you a lot of money that you don't realize. Once you do that, you have them all converted to weekly. You add up your commitments. So you have the total weekly amount for commitments and you have the total weekly amount for income. Divide the income, divide the expenses by the income. And you will get a number that is probably somewhere between 0.6 and 1 point something. That, if you convert it to a percentage, 0.6 is 60%. 1 is 100%. That means you are living far beyond your means because that doesn't take into account any of your food and fun, like buying clothing, buying, eating out at restaurants, having a pet, because those are variable expenses. You'll have nothing left over. And worst of all, you can't pay you. And if you can't pay you anything, why are you working? Like, why, what's the point? Right? You're basically getting up so that you can do a job, so that you can make money, so that you can go on living, doing a job. It's just a vicious circle. You're not getting ahead. So cutting out the obligations, the commitments, or raising the income is the only way to fix that. But the good thing is if you go through the list and the sheet, you will be able to see where all the money's going. Does any of this make sense? Does it help? Is it simple enough? Yes? No? I need a little bit of feedback. Can somebody, okay, I see a thumbs up. It does seem simple enough. Valentina, do you think it's simple enough?
I'm like a little bit lost on the weekly. I think I get it what you are saying. It's just like to me, I feel that I don't know. I'm a little bit confused still. I feel that I just need to let you talk more and
Okay,
then I will
so
get it.
yeah, well, the reason I get you to convert everything to weekly is because when you get a paycheck, most people think that paycheck, oh, I have money. I paid all the bills that were due this month. This is left over. I can spend it. But it might not be left over. It might be something you need to pay bills like that come up next week and you won't have enough next week, right? So if you convert it, everything that is a commitment to weekly and everything that is your income to weekly, you may have ups and downs, especially in business. So you may have hard weeks and good weeks. That's where you may end up having to make use of like a line of credit or something that or a credit card if you're using it properly. Credit cards must be paid off in full every month. They are not a loan vehicle. If you do you know that credit card companies actually call us deadbeats if we pay off the credit card in full every month? Yeah, yeah, because they're not making money from us. So basically, the purpose of converting it to weekly is so that you will have a guide to know how much you actually have to spend each week. Um, what I will do is I will share the PDF version of the spreadsheet. Here, I'll share my screen again here for a second. And it will give you the guidance because there is the first page of it right here. It shows you like you'd fill it in. The PDF doesn't have the zeros in the way. This is the spreadsheet that calculates the weekly. So it takes all of those, it divides it. So it would be a printout of this, and it has the instructions for how to convert everything to weekly for anybody that's nervous about math. Um, and then it's pretty simple to fill in. But you can use it as a guide. I do have I haven't shared it in a while, but I do have a booklet that explained it well. So I didn't want to go, I just kind of wanted to give you an overview of what it was so that you'd have an idea of how to do it. And I'll tell you what, if you go in the chat um, and you just select me, so it's just coming to me, or you could send it to Aiden. If you want to have, you could put your email there, or you could, I think, do you have the emails, Aiden?
I do, yes.
Okay, so you don't have to put your email. Just put in the chat that you'd like a copy of the PDF in the chat, and I will make sure you get a copy. How's that? And that way you'll be able to take a look and figure it out. Before I go any further with this, I kind of like to know what is important to you guys. How many of you are in business? How many of you are looking at this for personal finances? You can use the hands up, or you could mark it in the chat. Can you raise your hand or write in the chat that you're personal? Oh, let's do business because you're business. Okay, so we've got 3 business, bit of both, want to open a business, in business, no regular paycheck. Yeah, so I need to do one of these that's more focused on businesses, but you can use the same principles for your business. Maybe I will. So what I would like is your businesses are probably all at different levels. And I would really like to give you answers to questions that you have. I can go over more things and just present things, but if you have questions, like something like I've had people that had questions about HST, what to keep for receipts, like somebody asked me if credit card statements count. No, they don't. Statements don't count. You have to have the invoices. HST is one that I've seen a lot of people get incorrect information about. Pricing, paying you first. Do any of these sound of interest? Which one? Taxes. Okay. Do you want to just type it out, or do you want to come off mute and tell me?
Yeah, I can say it. So my business itself, I have an educational marketplace. So basically you go to the website and you find mainly language courses. So my public, my client persona, it's international, like people, mostly from Latin America. And I sell courses from all over the world.
Yeah.
So as far as I understand, we are tax exempt.
No.
Like, okay, I was actually told by a CRA expert that we were tax exempt because I'm selling something from Ireland to someone that's on China, if that makes sense.
It's not exempt, it's zero rated.
Zero
And that
rate.
may
Okay.
sound like it's the same thing, but it's not. With HST, they figure out if you have to have an HST number or not based on your sales. So exempt are non-qualifying businesses like insurance. I cannot, for my insurance business, have an HST number because it's an exempt one. Okay. Selling services and courses aren't exempt, but it depends on where you're selling it to, whether or not you charge tax on it. If it's not exempt, it still counts towards you being required to have an HST number. And if what you're selling is zero rated, you really want to have an HST number. So,
I do have an HST number. The thing
okay,
is, like,
good.
I was like, I created just because, Um, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if this is, it's very scary, right? I don't want them, the crowd being like, here is your bill for this much
No,
because,
they won't. You're right.
okay.
You don't have to charge tax. Anywhere outside Canada, you do not charge HST or GST, no sales tax, because it's zero. That's the
Mhm.
rate. We charge the rate for where our customer is. So I live in Nova Scotia. If I sell a course to someone in Hawaii, there's no tax. There's no sales tax in Hawaii for Canada. If I sell it to someone in Alberta, I have to charge the Alberta sales tax rate. Not the, sorry, it would be the GST or HST. I don't have to charge the provincial tax, but the GST or HST for each province in Canada, that's what I charge wherever the client is. Anywhere outside of Canada, it's always zero.
And it
So
will be, sorry, it will be, that doesn't matter if they are residents or not residents of Canada.
no, not at all. If it all that matters is where you are shipping that to. Where are they buying it from?
Okay.
Yeah. So, and actually, yeah, it would go by the address of, that's a good question. I don't actually know if it's where the purchaser, if the purchaser, like say I'm in Nova Scotia and I buy it from my child in another province. Yeah, no, it would be where I am. The rate would be based on where the purchaser is, not where it's being shipped to.
Okay.
So, I had a woman say something in a presentation once and it never left my mind. She said, no, if your sales aren't 30,000, you don't have to have an HST number. By all means, let all your clients know that you don't have $30,000 worth of sales and you don't think you will this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody says that actually. They are like, if you
Yeah.
are not making more than 30, you don't need an HST.
But if you don't have the HST number, everybody knows you're not making more than 30. You don't want your clients to know that. And if you're, the reason I said she really wants to have an HST or GST number is because what's happening for her is she's charging zero on her sales. Everything she sells, she doesn't have to collect any. But all the things she buys for her business, if she pays tax on that, like if she goes out and buys office furniture, office supplies, she gets to claim all of the GST or HST that she paid back. So when she files her HST, they say, what's your total sales? And you do have to include all your sales because they're not exempt. So you put whatever it is, like if you have $10,000 of sales, HST collected, zero. They may make you put a one in there because if you're filing online because it doesn't accept a zero. And then it will say ITCs, input tax credits. Input tax credits are the HST that you paid out. It's just a way to differentiate because if you're saying, oh, it's the HST, and they're like, wait, is that the HST you charged? Is that the HST you paid? So they call them input tax credits. So anything you bought for your business, the HST or GST there is going to be called an input tax credit. And those, so she sold 10,000, she didn't charge any HST, she bought office furniture and she bought some office supplies and she paid out $300 in ITCs, HST, GST. When she files that, the government's going to pay her $300. They give her back all the input tax credits and there's nothing to offset it. So she's just getting money back in. It's a really good thing. The other thing I've heard misinformation given in a course I was taking, they said if you reach $30,000 in sales during the year, that they're going to make you go back to January and pay HST on everything. That's incorrect. It is whatever sale puts you to that $30,000 mark. That's when you were supposed to call and register, and everything after that, you're supposed to charge HST or GST on. Um, it doesn't have to be backdated. If you haven't done it and they catch it, then you can still go in and say, here's the information. This is when I reached that sale. They may want proof. It may get messy. If you're going to hit $30,000, get the HST, the GST number. Does that answer your question? Do you feel any better?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Good, good.
Thanks.
Does anybody else have any questions that they have been having in their business? Pricing, profit first, paying yourself first, any of these things? All right. So I will mention something that I have seen happen, unfortunately, in businesses. Did you know that some people pay people to take their products? Yeah, it's called pricing incorrectly. You don't know what your expenses actually are. You're not counting everything. So I'll give you an example. I like using chocolate in my examples. I like chocolate. Um, so if you have a chocolate making business and you've just started it and you're just doing it at home, you don't really have a business like, I mean, you don't have a building, you don't have a lot of, it's called overhead expenses you pay every month, like rent or leases or loans. You're not, those are overhead expenses. Those are ones that you have to pay no matter whether you're making anything or not. So if you take that chocolate business and you have now bought your rented space and you have a kitchen and you have to pay rent every month and you've bought all the equipment and you're paying a loan for that. And then you have to go out and buy the supplies for the chocolates and make them, and then you sell them. So some people just look at what the chocolates cost them and they're saying, oh, well, I figured all the ingredients and everything are costing me about 50 cents a chocolate, so I'm selling them for $1. This is where they're paying people to take the money to take they're paying people to take the chocolates from them because they're still paying the rent and all these other expenses. So they're going in the hole. You actually have to take all of those expenses, add them up. And what I would do is look at what are your sales item wise or course wise or whatever. And you can do it by month, you could do it by year, and you want to allocate those expenses. So if you sell 1,000 chocolates in a month and these overhead costs, the ones that you always have to pay, whether you're there making chocolates or not, are $500. 1,000 chocolates, $500. It's actually 50 cents a chocolate would cover the overhead expenses. So think of overhead as you get sick, you're off work for a month, you still had to pay those bills. You're not making anything, nothing is going out the door. That's what overhead is. So I hope that maybe helps some people with pricing. Okay, how do you pay yourself first? How do you know it's better to pay someone else to do tasks? Ooh, these are good ones. Okay, I'll get to the tax one in a minute. I like this one. How do you know if it's worth paying someone else to do a task? And how do you pay yourself first? Two totally different questions. So if you figure out where you spend your time in the day, this is a practice. So write this down. Aiden, if you're able to type this in the chat so they could get it too, or there'll be a recording of this. You can watch it later. Get a little notebook and write down, like when you get up, write down what you're doing. Like could be morning routine. You don't have to get too specific on that one. And then when you change tasks, every time you change a task to something else, like you've been checking emails or you're on the computer, and then you go to make money, or then you go to bookkeeping, or then you're making phone calls. Every time you change the task, write down the time. That's all you have to do. You don't have to like go in and figure, but you have to do that for at least a day, preferably for a week. This way you see where your time is going. Now, we all know which activities will make us money, right? In a business, there's certain things that will make you money, and there's certain things that are just busy tasks. When I worked as a financial advisor, making the phone calls to book meetings, and then the meetings themselves were the steps in getting income. So, I mean, there's also filling out the forms. There's filing the insurance applications, those things. Those were more money making activities. I guess making calls might be considered marketing, but if I didn't make the calls, I wasn't making money, or meeting people. These are the tasks that will bring me in money. If I'm creating the website or I'm doing the bookkeeping, well, I would do that. I'm an accountant. So, but for you, if you're doing bookkeeping, you're doing accounting, how much time are you spending on it? How much would it cost you to pay somebody to do that task for you? That's step 2. When you know what tasks you're doing, put a price on them. What would it cost you to have somebody else do this? Or how much money do you generate doing that task? Because it's one or the other. It's either, it might be something that you could pay someone to do and they would generate money. In that case, like if you have an employee at the store, you're paying them minimum wage, right? So I think it's around $15. So you're paying them $15 an hour, and the average that's coming in is $100 or $150 an hour. So that seems like a good deal. That $15 an hour, are you doing something during that same hour that will make you more than $15 an hour? Is the task that you're doing, when you're doing your money making activities, what's that worth on a per hour basis? I heard a trainer say one time that if you're still doing your own housekeeping, she's not coaching you in your business, because it's way cheaper to pay somebody to do your housekeeping than it is to take the time that you could be being the creator in your business. Do you understand? Like, it's hard when I'm not getting feedback. So if you if you are working and you're a coach, and when you're coaching or you're teaching somebody how to speak another language, what is your per hour rate that you charge? If your per hour rate is $50 an hour, and this other person is doing the task for you for $15 an hour, that takes up time that you could spend teaching, then obviously it's better to hire somebody at $15 an hour. It's your low cost tasks, right? I hope I was clear on that. Aiden, was I clear on that? Did you get it?
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I think, yeah, it's just as long as what you're doing and the value that you bring to your company, is higher than what you could be doing otherwise, then it's worth it to just hire somebody so that you can bring more value, like as a net value to your company, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes. So it's, I know a lot of people, when you start, you're bootstrapping your business, you're doing everything yourself. I've done that. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. There's plenty of times I know how to make websites. I know how to do a whole bunch of stuff. Doesn't mean I should be doing it. So paying yourself first, um, there's books on this. The way you pay yourself first, obviously you have to have money in the business. If you hire an employee, that's one of the expenses that are non-negotiable, right? You have to pay them. When they say pay yourself first, you can't just go in and take a whole bunch of money, because your business has to support it. What it means is when you're deciding on creating new expenses in the business, that could be buying a new expensive piece of equipment. I have hiccups now. Buying a new expensive piece of equipment. It could be getting a lease. It could be expanding. Before you do that, you want to look at, okay, I have $2,000 coming in this month. The expenses I have right now are 600. How much money do I want to get this month? Well, if I want $600 this month, that takes it up to 1,200. That means there's 800 left after you've paid yourself that you could commit to new expenses. So it's just a different way of looking at it, because some people are like, oh, I've got money coming in the business. I've got enough now. I can go and buy this new piece of equipment. And they forget that they need to pay themselves. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. When you're buying expenses, when you're buying new pieces of equipment, please look at how long it will take to pay that off. What is the value in it? I actually will check in because, again, I'm not just an accountant. I've done mostly numbers here so far, which is typically not the way I am. But when people get me on this, I'm pretty good at this too. I'm actually a fairyologist, like a fairy. Like, so, I get into the mindset side. So when I'm thinking of buying something, I will check in and ask myself, will it pay me to buy this? And just wait and see. Like, you can feel a yes or a no in your body. Did you know that? You can. If you can practice it, you can build it. Actually, I'll teach you that right now, because that's probably going to serve you more than anything else. So the way to build this muscle, we all have it. It's our intuition. It's our sixth sense, right? It's just a muscle that some of us have had overridden and we've ignored because we get too much into our head. So you can do this with me, okay? I can't see any of you, but close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that you are reaching into your closet and you're pulling out an outfit that you hate. You absolutely hate it. It feels bad on the skin. It smells. So this is a no. This outfit is a complete no. So I want you to check, where do you feel the no in your body? You have to put that outfit on. Somebody's telling you, you got to wear that out to a dinner. Where are you feeling the no in your body? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does a no taste like? What color is it? Is there a certain sensation that you are experiencing that you can associate with a no? So now you get to take it off and you're going to put it in the closet. Now you're going to get out the most amazing outfit you have ever seen. It's just fantastic. You love it. It lights you up. Where do you feel this in your body? This is a yes. This is a total yes. Where are you feeling it? What does it feel like? If it had a texture, what's the texture? If it had a color, if yes has a color, what's yes's color? If yes has a taste, what's its taste? So that you can open your eyes. That's one of the ways that you can get to practice. You just feel a yes or you feel a no. You can do it with simple things. So you can check. There's energy ways to test it. It doesn't have to be like feeling it in your body. I can actually, if I'm trying to decide if I should take an allergy medication or not, I might just take the bottle, put my feet together, stand up and hold it against me. And if I lean away from it, it's a no. And if I'm leaning towards it, it's a yes. You can energy test food. Um, you can feel this yes or no. There's different ways to test for it. But that will serve you. It really will in life, in all kinds of things. Um, yeah, the ick feeling all over warm, fuzzy light. So I really, really hope if you don't do anything else from this, practice feeling a yes or a no because it is so, so good in every aspect of your life. Like as if you're trying to give up foods, if you're trying to eat healthier foods, if you want to know what your body needs, if you're trying to decide what to do in your business, knowing what a yes or a no feels like, smells like, tastes like, however you're going to do it, is super, super important. Um, there was a tax question. So, Grace, can you tell me what it is that your question was?
Yeah, no, I was just referring to so I do my uh taxes quarterly,
Yes?
and someone told me that you can use I think it's called the quick method,
Yes?
um, which means you retain a certain percentage more of the taxes that you have collected for the government,
Okay.
correct?
I actually haven't used the quick method. I just use the actual numbers. What's the question though about it?
Um, well, no, I was wondering if that's possible if you do it online, or is this something that's supposed to be done at the end,
Um,
or
when
it's
I'm filing HST, I usually just log into my business account. So the CRA log into your account. Your business number should be linked to your personal so that you can, when you log in, you'll see both of them pop up.
Mhm.
And you just go into the business one and HST and you can file it there. There's a part that says file a return. Um, the quick method, actually, I never used it. I've always just done the actual. If you're doing your own bookkeeping, um, I don't have any more answer for you than that, Grace. I'm sorry.
Okay, no,
Uh,
that's
if you're doing your own bookkeeping or you have a bookkeeper, this is really, really important. You need to look at it. When you get your taxes back, you need to read through it. If the person doing your bookkeeping is just taking your stuff, taking your money, and sending you back some statements and never goes over it with you, ask them, tell them, can you explain this to me? I don't know what I'm making. I don't know where I can do better. Like, explain it. And if they won't, get somebody new. If you're doing your own bookkeeping, it doesn't have to be complicated. There is somebody that I have helped him just recently. They had him using Simply Accounting. This is someone who doesn't even do online banking. He is not computer savvy. He called me up and said, I don't know how to put this adjusting entry in. It wasn't the adjusting entry. He was trying to enter the trial balance as an entry. And if anybody understands accounting, you'll know that that's a no-no. I know it's a totally different language and I'm trying not to speak it. I'm trying to just speak English. Basically, he was taking a report and trying to put it in as if it was something that he had to enter. He was messing his books up supremely. And they had had him using this accounting program for years and it has no benefit to him. Nobody goes over it with him. He doesn't understand it. I have actually created a paper books for him, loose leaf and a binder and a duotang. And I just write, he knows how to do the account numbers and it's just each page. So it doesn't have to be hard. My books, I'm an accountant. My books are actually in a notebook. I just write down, like there's different categories. If you look on your income statement, there's the different categories, right? Like advertising, um, business fees, Office repairs and maintenance. If you know where they go by category, all you have to do is just categorize it. Gas, you know that's there. Every expense related to your vehicle, if you use your vehicle for your business, every receipt. You don't just keep the ones for when you're going somewhere. You keep every receipt. You have to mark down your mileage January 1st, December 31st every year. And you have to have a notebook where you track all your business mileage because it's calculated on a percentage. So if you traveled 500 kilometers in a year and your total kilometers were 1,000 for the whole year, you get that by having the January to January mileage. That gives you the whole mileage. Then you have to have the business mileage. Business mileage over that gives you the percentage. And that percentage is how much you get to claim out of every receipt. Like you add up all your gas and you use that percentage. You add up all your repairs, you use that percentage, your interest, your all these things. So that's a good tip to have. Is there anything else you want to know? Because I do have an ask at the end of this. In your experience, what's one of the most common money mindset traps? They get into their head too much and they don't go with their instincts. To be quite honest, that's it. If it's if you're looking for actual financial wise, it's overcommitting. It's overspending. A friend of mine is an osteopath, and when she was setting up her business, she thought, okay, so do I have to rent a place? Do I have to buy a place? Do I have to buy tables? What do I have to get? What do I need? And I said, you need the minimum amount possible. You could start with a cheap table. You could, whatever keeps your costs, those overhead costs I mentioned, whatever keeps them the lowest is what you want to go with. If you're creating a course to sell, you don't want to spend $50,000 to produce a course that isn't proven because now you have to make $50,000 just to break even. You want to do it for the minimum cost until it's proven that it will make money. To make money in a business, you can't usually expect to be profitable until you're 3 to 5 years in. Keep that in mind when starting a business. That is the average. Overcommitting, overextending, expanding too fast, and pricing incorrectly, which I did go over. Those are the biggest ones. We're getting near the end, and I will be honest with you, I am working on my website. One of the things that I am looking for all the time is testimonials. People saying, I love the presentation or whatever. So if you have a minute that you could just type something in the chat, or if you could come on camera and say that if you found value, if there was something you liked, I would really, really appreciate if you could share any takeaways with me. Is anybody willing to give me like what they got out of this or anything? You could type it in the chat or come on. Yes, no? I would, even if you don't want me to use it as a testimonial, I right now have no idea if any of you found anything valuable. I would like to know if I made a difference. You can just unmute yourself and tell me. Oh, that's great, Valentina. Well, I'm probably restarting my podcast, and I do have a YouTube channel, so I am going to be putting a lot more stuff out there. So,
I
Heather's
do.
sorry.
Sorry, I do. I just thought I would pop in and just say the HST, GST amount getting to the 30,000 and about claiming it early, like that was new to me. I didn't think of it that way. So I got that, and there was one other thing. from that I got too, but I can't remember at the moment. Anyway, I did get some good information out of it. So thank you.
Thank you. So you enjoyed it. That's good. Yes, Carol, if anybody here, I will put an email for me in the chat. And if you want to send me an email, I'm also like, I am starting the podcast up, but if you want to ask me a question, I will probably address that. And because I'm always wondering what people want, what they need. So I would feel free to send me an email and say, hey, can you answer this? And I will do that too. Or send me something good, like a testimonial or something, feedback. It'd be great. So is that all good? Is there anything else anybody wants to know? Aiden, anything you're curious about?
No, all my questions were answered. Thank you very much. And just to wrap up, I just wanted to thank you again, Heather, for that great session. I learned a lot myself, so I'm sure everyone else here did as well. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. Just a reminder that a recording of this will be shared as soon as possible on the Hub NS and also on YouTube. And remember to follow us at CEED NS on socials for updates and content. And finally, be sure to sign up to the Hub NS to connect with fellow entrepreneurs within the community. So we look forward to seeing you at our next Ask the Expert on October 30th. It should be another great one. And yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, so Lucy, Carol,